swim, bike, and run day. Chee-hoo! Cause it's Breakfast with Bob.
And Poncho Man, everybody. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from Kona at Huggo's on the Rocks. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by Master Spas. SFuels, right fuel, right time. HOKA, Fly Human Fly. Deboer Wetsuits. Quintana Rookie, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest from Canada, Mr. Jackson Laundry. How you doing, Jackson?
Good. How you doing?
I am wonderful. You got that Tom Selleck with the mustache going. I like it.
I definitely know who that is. So.
See? Good man. Good man. First time here.
Yeah.
What do you think so far?
It's great. It's awesome. I mean, this is kind of the start of the big few days before the race with all the meetings and pro meetings and where the nerves start to come up. But it's been pretty chill I've been here since last Friday. So
yes,
it's been nice and it's beautiful here. It's like it's paradise. It's
an
totally amazing place for a race. It's it's kind of hard to imagine what it's going to be like out there with the heat and all that stuff. So that's gonna be tough, but it's an awesome place and so much history here. It's just so cool to be here.
And I know you prefer cooler conditions, but
yeah. I mean, who doesn't really?
Right, absolutely. But how have you acclimated so far?
Good. Yeah, I did quite a bit of preparation for the heat the last few weeks.
Okay.
I did Ironman Chattanooga kind of on a whim because I was supposed to do 70.3 Augusta and then the hurricane.
Oh, that's right.
And they allowed us to move over and do Chattanooga. So 2 days before the race, we'd drive from Augusta to Chattanooga after the hurricane.
And then they canceled the swim.
The swim we already knew was canceled because the water levels were so high from all the rain.
Right.
That you just had no way you could swim. Like you could see the current rate was just crazy. It was not. It wouldn't be safe. So bike run and pretty decent day there. A good bike. You know, learned a little lesson in the pacing on the run there, going out too hard and running with Cody Beals on a comeback day for him.
Yes.
He almost won, but that's him back at his top form, and he runs a 2:38, and I was running with him the first 10K, and it was just too fast. So
yes. You got fourth.
Yeah, I ended up in fourth. I was sort of I was leading for a while, and then sort of backed off in that last bit, and then the last 10K of the run, I was decided not to really push because I wasn't going to get third anyway because Streets was moving strong, and then I thought, all right, let's hold on to fourth. Let's focus on Kona.
Exactly.
And then I went to Castle Rock, Colorado, trained with Matt Hansen for 2.5 weeks, and just did like a ton of steam room, hot bike and run sessions, and kind of in the basement with no fan and humidity getting up there. And we actually had some hot weather there too. There was quite a few days in the getting close to 30 Celsius, and lots of sun exposure, so got some acclimation with that, and got as much heat acclimation as one can get, and then the rest of it is just pacing properly and taking in the fluids you need.
And the reality is, I remember Mark Allen saying years ago, if the heat was the determiner for winning this race, people from Brazil and people from New Orleans would win it every year. The reality is Peter Reed won it.
Yeah.
People from Germany. It's the heat. It's how your body deals with the heat.
Yeah, you just have to manage it, right? So I think the big thing with heat is once your body temperature really spikes, that's a problem.
You're
so
done.
You need to manage those surges or those times where it's starting to feel hot. Maybe the breeze dies down, you end up sort of in a bit of a tailwind maybe on the run where you're not feeling any cooling. The sun comes out, maybe think, you know what, I'm going to drop it down 5-10 seconds a K for a bit here, get to that next aid station, get some ice, and then roll back into the pace, because you can't quite respond in the same way as you can in other races where you're just like, oh, okay, the pace is picking up with this, whoever's running by me right now, I gotta go. And here you kind of have to think, you know what, let's think about this body temperature conservation and the fluids and all those things. So.
Well, and also the thing that we talk heat and wind here, but it's that level of competition. The depth of the competition here is really what makes it crazy, because it becomes tactical on the bike ride, because you got a group of 15 all legally spaced. Like, I can't go buy all 15 of these guys. I got to figure out when to make my move and not burn too many matches when I do.
Yeah, exactly. I think the big factor in this race that is hard to explain is just that championship level, and it's the world championship that everyone who qualifies goes to. So
yes,
it's world championships is always incredibly competitive, but when every single person who qualifies goes and focuses on the race and really makes it the key point of their season, it's just a different level. So I think that's what it is. It's like so many people trying to push to be at the front, and everyone's so fit that like half the guys blow up. So I just don't want to be one of those guys.
Don't wanna be those guys. What have your impressions been riding out to Javi and just the different segments of the course?
Yeah, the Queen K is really, it can be very windy, and like the wind can just change like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Like me and Matt did a ride on Saturday, so 1 week out, and we're doing some like long Ironman pace interval, and it was crosswind for like 25 minutes, and all of a sudden it was a headwind, and it just changes. Like it just completely changes. So the crosswind's a huge. It can really split things up, because if you get a 30-mile-an-hour crosswind, those groups aren't really gonna. It's gonna struggle because there's not really much of a draft in the group anymore. So I kind of hope for that, because the biking's where I've been able to do a lot of damage, and I'm hoping that happens here too. But you got to race smart, because you get out to Javi, that's quite a long climb up towards Javi of mostly uphill.
Yeah.
You could still keep your speed up, but you gotta really save something for that, because if you're already cooked before that, you're just going to get dropped in those hills.
Well, and sometimes the wind will be against you going up and against you going down. You don't know what it's going to be when you get the turnaround.
It's so different when you're this close to the ocean. Like things are swirling around, and like it's not like any wind I've ever felt. Like sometimes you just know it's windy, but you don't even know which way it's coming from. You're like, where is the wind? It's left, it's right, it's head on.
I know.
So you just got to be ready for anything.
I remember the first time we were on this island, 1981. I thought on the way to Javi, I thought I was killing people. Right? I'm like, I'm flying. Then I looked over, and the bushes were all bent my way. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be a nightmare. Turn it around, and I was like, everybody's head is down. So I'm looking at the schedule from this year, and I'm going, wait, is this 2024 and 2023? He's like, no. What have you done? Like 10 races this year?
Yeah, this is my 10th one.
Oh my God.
So,
was that the plan early on?
I didn't have much of a plan this year. Just with the two different series,
right?
I was kind of at the start of the year thinking, okay, let's get a couple good results, try to get into the T100 Series, and I was able to get into one race there in San Fran, and didn't really have a good day there. Just wasn't ready for that dynamic of
how fast they were going.
How fast it was at the start of the bike, and I just the way that course played out, you had to be in the group kind of thing, and I wasn't, so didn't really have a good day there. And then I thought, you know what, let's focus on this Ironman series. I already had a couple of good 70.3s, and I thought, all right, let's try like Placid, and it went pretty well there. That was
7th.
Seventh there, decent points. And I'm like, all right, if you're gonna do the Ironman series, you got to do 3 fulls. So
that's right, you do. So at that point, after Placid, then you're like, I got to go to Frankfurt, and then I got to go to Chattanooga.
Kona. Chattanooga's not part of the series.
Oh, that's right.
So I went to Frankfurt hoping for a decent day there, and unfortunately crashed on one of the turns.
Yeah.
It was just rainy, and like when you've got a pouring rain all day on the bike and you've got like dozens of turns, you're going to hit a slick spot. Like so many guys went down in that race.
Yeah, I know.
So unfortunately I went down and really banged up my hip, and just sort of the body just kind of gradually crumbled after that. So I finished, but not very well. And so that was kind of like that was a pretty important result for the series. Like right now I'm sitting in 3rd, but a lot of guys don't have 5 races yet, so that Frankfurt result needed to be pretty decent, I think, if I wanted to have a chance for like top 5 in the series, but in the end of the year. But I've got 5 results on the board, and you know how Kona goes, like a lot of guys just kind of fall apart. So if I can put together a good day here, I think I have a good shot in it. And I wasn't planning to do Ironman Chattanooga, but when 70.3 Augusta was canceled, I got that Chattanooga race in, and got that last bit of experience I needed for this. So that was 4 weeks ago. I recovered pretty well and still got a good block in. So I've been riding really well this year. So what I kind of focused on was maintain my cycling and push the run and the swim a little bit to get that level to where it needs to be, and come to Kona and be ready for the heat.
What I love right now is the fact that we have this Ironman Pro Series, right? Where a lot of times people would, it's like, oh God, if I can't get top 10 here, why come? Right now with the series, you want to get points, you want to be there, but there's a reason. There's a reason for people to come, for people to perform, even if they feel like if they're out of the top 3, they can still, the points matter. and then you also have the T100 Series. So it's a good time to be a pro.
Yeah, the series for sure has changed the way I think people think about the races in the series. Where, like you said, like normally in a regular Ironman that's not Kona, at least all the guys who are qualifying for Worlds, it's kind of like not really a successful day unless you're at least top 5,
right?
Or ideally top 3. But once you get to World Champs, like everyone needed to be top 10 to make it worthwhile, right? But now, if you're 10th to 20th, but you're in the mix and you're not that far back, you get good points. There's a lot of points available here for the Pro Series.
Yeah.
So yeah, it changes things for sure. It changes things. I'm just curious to see if it's going to change how the race actually plays out, because this is the first time the Pro Series has ever been around during World Champs. So
right.
I'd be curious to see, does it change how people pace a little bit? Does it?
I think it will.
You think it? In theory, it would make some people race a little more conservatively to make sure that they have that solid result rather than going for it and maybe blowing up.
It's funny. We used to have a Ironman World Series, and this was a double points race. This goes back to like before you were born, like 1989 type of thing.
Okay, yeah.
And so you had Dave Scott and Mark Allen, who had done no other Ironman races, and they were there to win the race. And then you had Ken Glass, Scott Tinley, and those guys were part of the Ironman World Series. So they were racing each other, right, for places. And they didn't give a crap about Mark and Dave. Let them go and fight for the win. But we're here to get points for the World Series, which was awesome. So you had multiple races going on.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, definitely a race within a race is going to be happening. And especially looking at the guys who are doing the Ironman series, focusing on it, like obviously Matt Hansen and myself and Brad Weiss, and there's a bunch kind of those guys top 10 in the series that are thinking about the series as well as the Kona performance. So I do think probably the guy, you've got the Magnus Ditlevs and the Sam Laidlows who were focusing on a bunch of things this year and didn't have the ability to get 5 races in for the Ironman series. Right. And that's happens to be a lot of the guys that you're thinking about who are probably
here for the win,
here to get the win. So
it'll
be interesting to see how that affects things.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun how it works out. And even last year, you did 10 races last year too, right?
Yeah. So last year I did 10, but they were spread out through December. This is my 10th race, and we're still in October. So we'll see after this if I'm ready to maybe call it a season or potentially go to that 70.3 Worlds.
I remember this goes back, it's almost 10 years now, when you were like 10 minutes behind the winner at Des Moines, and you were pretty much ready to wrap it up and go.
Oh, yeah.
You're like
before I jumped into the long course scene.
You're like, you know what? I think the sport's not for me. Maybe it's time to move on. And look at, we're nearly 10 years later, and you're at the top end.
I think that was 20. That might have been 2014. It could have been 2015.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, that was kind of my first pro year, and it was getting my butt kicked by Cam Dye and still Greg Bennett at the time. I think
yes,
he was like
Greg
44.
Bennett was up there. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is hard to compete up here, but I was 20 or 21, and I just started really, and I kind of was like, all right, let's focus on this a little longer, see what we can do. And then the next year I was a lot better and right up there, getting some podiums, and I'm like, all right, we can do this.
You can do this.
It just takes time, takes patience, which at the time I didn't have much of. I still never had a lot of patience, but I've learned patience because in this sport you really need it.
You have, and you're on Saturday you're going to really need it.
Yeah,
because people are going to make a move, and you're going to be like, do I go? Do I not go? What do I? It's like there's a lot of chess moves that'll happen on Saturday.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I know for sure, just having raced in hot conditions and done a lot of races, like you can't try to in an Ironman, you can't try to win it in the first hour. No. So we'll see. I mean, at the same time, I think if other people are making moves, then I can kind of just follow and not have to burn too many matches to go with it. Sometimes you gotta take advantage and try to stay with that group. So we'll see. Gonna have to really use my judgment out there and not get too excited, not race with too much ego. And yeah, I think I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it, and no matter what, like first time in Kona, you're gonna learn a lot and really gotta soak it in.
But we were interviewing one guy, says, the thing about Kona, you win or you learn. I love that line. How about a round for Jackson Laundry?
Aloha Wednesday. We're gonna swim, bike, and run day. Chee-hoo. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And it's breakfast with Bob. Chee-hoo.
Thank you, Pancho Man. That is a wrap for day 3. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We will be back tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. See ya.